Good morning, Santa Clarita, and welcome to Via in Action. Shane, I love this intro music, man. I just listen to the station just to hear what you're going to put up for us.
I think it sounds pretty good. I'm glad you like it.
I love it. I'm your host, Jason Gibbs, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Co-hosting with me today is local legend, fellow VIA board member, Mr. Master of Ceremonies in Santa Clarita, 2019 Man of the Year, and the only guy with more positive Yelp reviews than Baskin-Robbins on Free Ice Cream Day, Mr. Ed Masterson. Ed, thanks for holding down the fort with me today, my man.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Thanks for that overly done intro.
Did I miss anything? I think I pretty much hit all the hot spots, right?
I think you got a lot of falsehoods in there.
Well, it's all about perspective. VIA in Action is a show dedicated to informing our community about the Valley Industry Association, commonly known as VIA, the events and programs that we produce, and having guests on the show who have both shaped and benefited from the various activities that we put on. Our organization has a wonderful history in the Santa Clarita Valley since 1981, and our dedicated members have formed long-lasting business and personal relationships that continue to benefit our wonderful town. We invite you to check us out at www.via.org and come learn more about our programs, committees, and ways to step up your business. Now, Ed, correct me if I'm wrong. You've been a chairman at least once or twice of this organization, haven't you?
2 times, both time a great honor in 2016 and 2017. So I've been a long time VIA board member, been involved with the organization since I came to work here in the community back in 1999. So it's going on 21 years now, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. 2 consecutive years you were the chairman?
I was, yes. Like to think that it was more than just because nobody else wanted to do it. I'd like to think that it's because, I did a good job. But no, it's a great organization. Like I said, every company I've ever worked for has always been a member of VIA. So it's a great group, and I have a great connection to it for the past 21 years.
No, that's wonderful. And obviously, Ed, you were one of the reasons that I got involved with this organization a little over 2 years ago. And, they're very good at reaching out to you, and when you say, yeah, I'll give it a shot, they throw you right in there and start putting you to work. But it has been an absolute pleasure and a lot of fun. I currently serve as let me get this right, the Vice Chair of Advocacy and the Chair of the Advocacy Committee. They sound related, but I think they're different.
They do. A lot of good work. Your committee does great work. You guys are always keeping things front and center for us to be on the front line of what's going on with all the various things that organizations like ours need to know. So kudos to you and your committee.
No, thank you, Ed. And we'll be having some meetings coming up here shortly and putting some information out. There's a lot of stuff coming in November, obviously. We're getting close to the next big election of 2020, and a lot of people look at those upper ticket items, but there's a lot of things going on that are going to affect local businesses and our residents from various state propositions and things of that nature. So we'll be diving more into that as we move along. But I wanted to go ahead and jump over to our first guest this morning, and who better than to discuss the rich history of VIA than our CEO and president, Miss Kathy Norris. Kathy, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for inviting me. Good morning.
You're welcome. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you said you were going to sing a song for us?
Maybe next time.
No, that's wonderful.
Kathy, you just celebrated a milestone anniversary with the organization, 25 years with VIA, and there's nobody in the Valley, I think, who knows the organization that wouldn't think of you as the face of the organization and the heartbeat of that organization as well. So tell us just, a little bit about how you came to work with the organization initially, and then we can talk about a couple other things as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for your kind words. Very appreciated. But I came to VIA, as you mentioned, 25 years ago from a completely different industry. Had a different career in the title insurance industry, was looking for a change, and had not been involved in my own local community very actively prior to that. They were looking to make an ad to staff at that time. I interviewed. I called it a gang interview, actually. The entire executive board interviewed me, and I started work for them in May of 1995. And it has been, I won't say a wild road, but definitely an interesting and ever-changing position since that time. Very enjoyable.
Well, I remember when I first came to work for Golden West Canine, which was a company that was in the same building with VIA back in those days, back in '99, and it was so great to have you right across the hall, along with Connie Warden-Roberts, of course, another, local business and other type legend here in the Santa Clarita Valley. But you and Connie both were so welcoming and so informative and helpful that you really planted in me initially the feeling of family that I think VIA really has, and we really kind of embody. So you always do such a terrific job. And the thing that I always say about you, and you're always very modest about this, though, is for someone in your position for organizations like this, you always go that extra mile to make sure that the member gets the most out of their membership, and you're very good about customizing and fine-tuning it for each member so that they can really have the best experience. I really admire you for doing that.
I think what it's really about, Ed, is making sure that we have a firm investment in the continuing success of all of our members in the business community in Santa Clarita. We're a tight-knit community here, and without working with each other, I don't think that success would be as wide-reaching as it is right now. My passion is helping people make the connections that they need to grow their business, and basically offering assistance anywhere that I can to help them continue to prosper.
Yeah, you're fantastic with that. And Jason, I know you've experienced that with Kathy as well. She's there's nobody that knows Kathy that wouldn't say she's one of the finest people in the Valley, and just the way she treats people and really looks out for their best interest. It's really what makes the organization fantastic.
No, I couldn't agree more, Ed. And Kathy, we've kind of talked about this before, but do you recall where VIA really got its start here in the Valley?
VIA got its start back in 1981. It was exclusive to the Valencia Industrial Center at that time. The reason that it was put together initially is that time there was only one entrance in and out of the industrial park. It was from the old road on Rye Canyon. There had been some incidents of disasters, fires and things like that here, and what was discovered is that they couldn't evacuate the park and bring in emergency vehicles at the same time. So a group of about 15 companies got together, created an industrial association, and their first order of business was finding an additional route in and out of the park, which was a dirt road at that time. Avenue Scott was a dirt road, but they did open it up, and from there it kind of snowballed into a variety of other things. We got the road. We had an emergency prep issue, so we had emergency preparedness centers put into the industrial park in 2 locations. We worked on commuter transportation, workforce level housing, high-speed internet, education issues, and so we've gone in so many directions since that initial founding of the organization.
And one of your great partners over the years has always been College of the Canyons, right? We've had a terrific partnership with COC over the years as well. And was that already in place when you came to VIA, or did that sort of get established after you joined the group?
I think that it was. We had a relationship with College of the Canyons, of course, from the inception of the organization. But very early in my career with VIA, and this is my favorite story, honestly, to tell, we were in a meeting with a group of executives and some of the folks at College of the Canyons. The business community was looking for a way to work with the community college to do retraining for the existing workforce, to make sure that they constantly had, the skills and that edge that they needed to compete in their markets. So we sat in a meeting. We tried to discuss many, many ways to do that. The amazing Dr. Van Hook was in that meeting as well, and I was kind of in awe of her at that time because I'd only been with VIA for about a year. But through the collaboration of all of those individuals at that table, they put together a program that employers could use their ETP funds, Employment Training Panel funds. It's money they'd already paid to the state of California to gain training for their existing employees. And so that morphed into what that time was called the Valencia Learning Center, which I think everyone today recognizes as the Employee Training Institute. So sitting at that table, I don't think at that moment I realized the enormity of what we were putting together. But for those who have taken advantage of that and the businesses here in Santa Clarita, thousands and thousands of employees and employers have taken advantage of those training opportunities that the college provides through the Employee Training Institute at very, very low cost. So that was an amazing accomplishment from that partnership.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And again, your humility and the humility of the group is what's always really impressive there. So thanks, Kathy, for sharing that. Jason?
No, absolutely. And again, everybody, this is Jason Gibbs with Ed Masterson on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. You're listening to Via in Action with our guest today, Kathy Norris. Now, Kathy, one of the programs I've always enjoyed, and when I first came on board, was the Connecting to Success program. Could you kind of go into a little bit where that came from and what it's evolved into over the years?
Sure. Every couple of years, VIA holds a program called the CEO Forum, which is a collaboration of about 100 local CEOs, owners, and presidents to kind of take the temperature of what the needs are out in the business community. So in 2002, our CEO Forum resulted in a variety of things, but one of which was that employers felt that the emerging workforce, those who were just entering into the world of work, were maybe not as well equipped with the soft skills, or we call those now professional skills, as they could have been. And that would have been their communication skills, written and verbal, ethics in the workplace, and at that time, team building. So out of that forum came a program called Connecting to Success that involves the business community in offering that training to thousands of students from the Heart District every year. So we implemented the program. It began in 2003, and we will be finishing our 18th year of that program in the spring of 2021. Right now, we're offering professional skills in areas called building your image. There's another one called Get That Job. There's some financial literacy training. And then we've added a component now with career exploration, where business leaders can come and discuss their business to tell how they got started on their pathway and to encourage interested students in heading that direction in their schooling.
Oh, that's incredible. Thank you.
Yeah, Kathy, that's phenomenal. And again, I know that's a huge project, Connecting to Success. And the great thing about it is it utilizes members of the business community to serve as facilitators to come in, and for the time when the students are going through the process, have those business community representatives as mentors. And I think a lot of times relationships get created there between the students and the business community members, where there's future jobs that become available to some of the students, which is also a great byproduct of the program.
That's correct, absolutely. We had about 80 volunteers for this last run of the program, and we're trying to build this into something that we may be able to present virtually if we have to in the spring of 2021, but it's been very, very successful presented in person, and I know that you facilitated many, many years, Ed, so I thank you for that as well. I think you and I even team taught one year, didn't we?
Yes, we did. It was good. I think you kind of, as usual, carried the load on that one and did all the heavy lifting. So.
It might have been the other way around. When they came in and sat down, I was a little bit, tongue-tied for a few minutes, but wonderful students, and we've had such good luck with them. We're looking to train about 4,000 over this next year of the program.
Wonderful.
Yeah, no, it is fantastic.
No, that is, Kathy, and you hit it on the spot. The professional skills are becoming so important. I'm in the aerospace industry and do a lot with the rocket launch world, and while it's common to find engineers and people who have those engineering degrees, but if you don't have the ability to convey your message, to write, to communicate with people not from just engineering level, but you work with execs and technicians and contractors, if you don't have those abilities to interact with all of them, it can make your life very difficult, to be quite honest with you. So this is a soft skill or a professional skill that is so important, and it's great that we do that. And Kathy, now the last one I wanted to ask you about, which I've always found just amazing, probably one of the best events in town, is the Via Bash. Where did Via Bash come from?
I think the Via Bash kind of emerged out of another CEO forum. The first one that we held was in 1999. I think that when they were originally created, they were a little bit more of a business meeting than the celebration events that we've done in previous years. Interestingly, that first one was also the first ever event that was held here locally at the Hyatt Valencia. They opened the year that we were doing our program, and we were pretty nervous that they might not get the hotel open in time to accommodate us. We had a really cool hard hat tour, of the hotel before it was open that fall too. So that was kind of interesting. But the bash kind of moved into, in subsequent years, a fundraiser of sorts. Each year we selected a member nonprofit organization, and based on very specific criteria, which included site visits by a team, to their facilities, we were able to select a nonprofit to honor at our bash. And, some of those that had been honored over the years were organizations like Pleasant View Industries, Carousel Ranch, the SCV Senior Center, and a variety of others. So that was a lot of fun. In addition to celebrating our VIA members of a distinction, we were able to showcase some of our local nonprofits and give them donations of support as well.
No, it's great. It's probably one of those big events where everybody comes in, puts their hair down, and after a year of hard work, everyone's happy just to kind of kick back a little bit and enjoy the fruits of what they've accomplished for the year. I've loved Via Bash ever since I got involved in the community. It's been wonderful.
It is a lot of fun to attend that event. Very widely attended. We always sell out the ballroom over at the Hyatt and have had a wonderful time over the years. So we'd like to see that one keep going forward.
Absolutely. Well, Kathy, we're kind of closing down on it. What can you kind of give us a sneak peek of what we got for some events coming up and some various activities VIA's putting on in the next couple weeks here?
We actually have a few in the queue right now. On Tuesday, September 1st, we have a special presentation on the new requirements that businesses are going to have to implement based on coronavirus, to kind of implement for within their buildings and within their employment manuals. Got a great panel discussion on that. I believe, is it okay if I say this, Jason? I know we're still working on it.
Absolutely.
But I believe that on Tuesday the 15th, we are going to have an Assembly Candidates Forum, so we'll be pleased to have both of the ladies with us and answering some questions pre-submitted more than likely. And then at the end of the month, on Tuesday, September 29th, we'll be doing one of the CEO forums that we discussed a little earlier in the program today.
No, that's wonderful. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for coming with us today and being the first guest of VIA in Action. This is Jason Gibbs with co-host Ed Masterson. After the break, we're going to be talking with our current chairwoman, Miss Hillary Broadwater, who will share how VIA has helped her engage the business community, kept all of that free time I'm sure she has nice and occupied, and maybe, just maybe, we'll even get a sneak peek into this year's main event, VIA Bash, but with a twist. So I hope you'll all stay with us and don't go away.
Sweet, salty, tastiest, bacon and pancakiest. Big yawns are okay, yummy syrups, yes way. Butter pecan, blueberry, old-fashioned strawberry. Never empty coffee pot. Mom says it hits the spot. Almonds are the fluffiest, Dad's hugs the scruffiest. Scrambled eggy, pepper shaky, orange juicy, wide awake, stuffed French toastiest. Waffles with the mustiest, buttermilky, smooth, the silky taste great. Love on a plate.
IHOP, everything you love about breakfast.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
At College of the Canyons, we are
an inclusive community,
a family,
a partner,
a leader,
a way forward,
an open door,
an affordable education,
an opportunity for a different tomorrow.
Fall classes begin in August.
The time is now.
The place is here.
Enroll now.
Canyons.edu/schedule.
Finding the right auto body shop can feel like a never-ending search.
It's more than a job, it's a hobby.
Caesar, owner of Body Shop 661, your one-stop body shop.
Out here in Santa Clarita, I like seeing my cars driving around. It's really a passion.
More than just repairs. Body Shop 661. Trusted, reliable, respected for over 16 years in the Santa Clarita Valley. Visit bodyshop661.com or give them a call, 661-251-2252.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
Hello, Santa Clarita Valley. Fred Arnold with American Family Funding.
And David Cantrell, American Family Funding.
Right now, during COVID-19, unfortunately, people have lost their jobs. Things are challenging right now. However, interest rates have dropped to historic lows.
Absolutely. It is the silver lining that's going on right now, that with interest rates as low as they are, it's a great time to be able to access the equity in your home for a lot of things, like maybe even now just getting by.
Right now, purchases, if you've been locked out of the home buying process, give us a call. We'll be happy to pre-approve you and put you in a position to compete against those cash offers so you can get your dream home now that we have historically low interest rates.
AFFloans.com. All of our information is there, or you can reach us at 661-284-1150.
KHTS, your hometown station.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Via in Action. I'm Jason Gibbs, along with my co-host 2019 Man of the Year, and I got lots of other nice things to say, but we'll keep it quick. Mr. Ed Masterson.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you. It's great to be here with you. And want to remind everybody we're on their hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. So go ahead.
No, my pleasure, Ed. So just remind everybody, Via in Action is a show dedicated to informing our community about the Valley Industry Association, the events and programs that we produce, and having guests on the show who have both shaped and benefited from the various activities that we put on. And now our next guest today is longtime board member and current chairwoman. She picked one heck of a year to be that chairwoman, Miss Hillary Broadwater, who will share how VIA has helped her engage the business community, kept her free time occupied, and maybe even she'll give us a sneak peek into Bash. So Miss Hillary Broadwater, welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Of course. Now, I'd like to give a little background. Hillary is the owner of the award-winning graphic design firm QM Design Group, considered by many to be one of the nation's top graphic designers, and works to give her clients a visual voice. She is a mother, a leader, and just an all-around great person in our book, and we are fortunate to have her at the helm during this crazy year that is 2020. So, Hillary, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, Hillary, thanks for joining us. And Jason and I were talking a little bit about how each year the chairwoman or the chairman of the board for the organization, when they come in with their ideas or philosophies or things that they feel are a direction they want to go during their time at the helm. And so if you don't mind giving us just a little glimpse into what is your sort of, when you came into the position there, I love your philosophy, and I want you to kind of go ahead and talk about it and expand on it and how I think it's so beneficial to the organization moving forward.
Absolutely. My vision for this year was building bridges. I look at different organizations throughout Santa Clarita, businesses who are startups and businesses who are established, and everybody can help one another. And sometimes people don't really realize that there is a conduit or a way to get from point A to point B. And VIA can act as that bridge, being able to connect the people with other organizations or other businesses that may help them. And it could be through advocacy. It could be through just one of our luncheons, by meeting somebody new that you didn't realize you needed in your business. So my goal this year was build bridges. They're not always stable, and sometimes we need to reinforce them. Sometimes they're super strong and we can cross them, but when you can cross that bridge, the groups on either side of that bridge can end up helping each other grow. And I think, to me, that is what VIA is a bridge for organizations, for other businesses, and for people to get across and get to those who they need to be able to connect with.
Yeah, and excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat, but that is one of the things I loved most about your philosophy, and it kind of dovetails into what I've always thought VIA represents anyway, which is a very, I like to say to people all the time, people probably get tired of hearing me saying it, but when we have our Get Acquainted breakfast for people that have just newly joined the organization, or even some that have been in the group for a while and maybe they haven't had a chance to get as involved as they want to, so they come out to the Get Acquainted breakfast to be reminded of all the various things the organization has to offer. One of the things about VIA that's always kept me emotionally connected to it is this feeling of family, and it's this feeling that VIA can be your business community family, and your Building Bridges philosophy goes so far towards continuing to carry that sort of feeling VIA's always had, in my opinion. It's always been a very close-knit, lots of camaraderie. You got a family feeling to it where people are looking out for each other and putting those hands out to help each other, as you said, no matter where you are, whether you're just starting out, whether you're well-established. And like you said, bridges aren't always at their highest level of stability right from the beginning, but it takes a little bit of time. But the consistent touching base with people, staying in touch with them, asking them questions. And the other thing I really do love about your philosophy as well is it's not always about touching base with a person or a company because you want business from them. There's a lot of things that we do in VIA that are just about listening to people and creating an actual relationship and a friendship so they know that you're here and we're there for them, not just there to pester them to give us business. That's one of the things I think works best in today's world, at least when it comes to sales, which is the lifeblood of a lot of companies we have here in the Santa Clarita Valley. But one of the things I think resonates with companies and the members of those companies is that it's nice to know in a very fast-paced environment that we all live in nowadays that there are people with some old-fashioned actual desires to sit down and just say, look, I just want to get to know you better and see if there's a way we can help you, and there's no obligation there. Just let us get to know each other. And that's what I love about your Building Bridges philosophy.
Thank you. You know, picking up a phone and calling to make sure somebody is okay says a lot more than calling to say, hey, where's your money? Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that we all of us on the board of VIA and the members of VIA feel that same way. It is a camaraderie. It is, you know, when you come to VIA, you feel very welcomed. There's always somebody who's going to reach out to you or introduce you to somebody that you may need to meet. And we always ask. We always ask up front, you know, what is your objective? Why are you part of this? Where are you? Where do you need to go? And, you know, that's our job as an organization, is to help them and guide them to where they need to be. I know when I first started VIA, I came, you know, out of the corporate world, having been a creative director for many years in the education industry, and I worked for the Discovery Channel, and they did a cleaning of house, and with a newborn child and a 6-year-old, there was no way I could relocate across the country, so I ended up starting my own business. And I remember having coffee one morning with some people, and they said, you know, if you're going to get into an organization and you want to be able to move forward, you need to join VIA. And I didn't know what it was, and I walked into my first meeting not knowing anybody, but people came up very, you know, introducing themselves and asking me what I did, and it was just very casual and comfortable, but also very business-oriented. And they were all the people in the room that I needed to be in front of to make my business grow. And I remember walking into that room and seeing the VIA Works for Me program with the likes of Jill Milady and Don and Sherry Fleming and Tim Burkhart. You know, those are big names in our community, and they were all so welcoming. And it wasn't like they were put up on a pedestal. They were humans just like all of us, and they were there to help you figure it out. And, you know, once we kept moving forward and you put your 2 feet in as part of an organization and you really get in and you become part of it, which is what I did when my first committee was joining the BASH committee. I figured I can plan a party. That would be fun. I'll be part of it. And you get your feet in and you get your feet wet and you become a part of that organization, then you really can see what the benefits are of it more than just saying that you're a member.
Yeah, and before I let Jason step back in here, one of the things also that I think people feel when they come to the group is that they are, upon first contact and continuously throughout their relationship with the group, is they are admired and respected and appreciated and welcomed right off the bat, because anybody that's able to stay in business and do business and work for a company out here, whatever your connection to the business community and the community at large with all of our nonprofit organizations and what they represent, if you're a member of this community out here, you deserve to be admired and appreciated and respected and welcomed no matter where you go. So that's always been the philosophy. Jason?
Ed, just spot on. Again, everybody, you're listening to VIA in Action. This is Jason Gibbs with co-host Ed Masterson on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We're talking to the current chairwoman of the VIA board, Miss Hillary Broadwater. Hillary, I wanted to ask you, obviously, as everybody knows, this year has just been something unprecedented, especially for all of our local businesses in our country, quite frankly. From your experiences as a small business owner, how have you seen COVID and the pandemic affecting your clients and your business?
Well, for what we do, I own a graphic design and branding firm. We do print design, web design. Most of my clients have taken a shift. They're still all, for the most part, moving forward. They are in the mindset that if you own a business and you can keep moving forward with your marketing, you keep moving forward with your marketing. But we've taken a majority of our clients digital. So instead of a lot of direct mail, we've turned to very heavy digital marketing, amping up their social media, a lot more of that, putting them in front of people in a different way. And we've had some that have had to pull back completely and say, put us on hold for right now, but we'll hopefully still be here when we come back. So it's definitely been a shift of things, and it's been a new learning experience. There have been definitely some things that I've had to learn in regards to my industry to make that shift with them. But we're doing it, and we're moving forward. So, and it's picking up. Definitely. I can say within the last 2 months, some direct mail has definitely picked up again, and people are coming back a little bit stronger than they were at the beginning. So we're just, we're helping them where we can help them and figuring out new solutions that will allow them to still market and keep them in front of their clients.
Hillary, are you finding that when your clients are transitioning to a more digital platform, as you call it, has it shown to be more cost-effective? Is it reaching new clientele while keeping the clientele that typically they would have hit with paper and mailers? What are you seeing in terms of effectiveness?
It's definitely, we have some clients that were doing some very heavy direct mail marketing that have gone to, instead of mailing out postcards or mailing out letters that they were doing, they have switched over to doing weekly newsletters. But what they're finding is they're actually getting a better response from those newsletters because they can see the analytics of it. They can see who opened it. They can see who responded to the form that we put in there asking for, an update on their information. So they're getting more responses, and it's less expensive. To do an email newsletter, you're looking at the cost of your email program, so Constant Contact or MailChimp, based on the number of people that you need to send out to, as opposed to mailing out 2,000 letters. So it's a cycle. That they will go back to doing some direct mail, and it all works synergistically together if you can have that campaign all moving at the same time. But they're finding that some of them found it easier to do an email newsletter instead of a print newsletter, and they were able to see the responses. So they can see those analytics and, like I said, who opened it, who responded. So they seem to like that.
That's great. Now, I had a couple of text messages, Ed, while we've been sitting here. Everybody wants to know why I have a computer sitting in front of me. And I'm going to let everybody know it's not because I have all kinds of great data or information or stuff I want to talk about. I've had a mean game of solitaire going for the last 2 days, and I just couldn't bring myself to take a pause from it. So look, I wanted to clear the air. I don't want people to think what it's not. You know.
Can we ask Hillary about a really fun event that we hope will occur in the spring?
Ed, I think we have to ask about this event.
All right, so Hillary, you talked about the bash and how that was one of the things that attracted you into getting into a committee. So give us maybe a 1 or 2 minute pitch on the bash with a twist. And I probably got the title wrong, but just tell us what your vision is.
You have the title right.
Oh, okay. You got it.
So we are working on Bash for this year. It is our signature event. I have been the chair for the Bash for the past, I think 6 years.
Oh, wow.
So it is close to my heart, and a program that I did not want to let go. But in my eyes, all of us, all industries in March kind of got their knees cut off and taken to the same level. And so we're looking at Bash a little differently this year, and it's a party. Right? It is a celebration of our members, of their everything that they went through during the year. So we're going to switch things up a little bit with a twist, because there's always a little alcohol at our bashes, drinking and celebrating. So our theme this year will be playing off of the twist. So think Cosmopolitan with a twist, or any other drinks that have a twist to them. And we may be changing up our awards a little bit this year, but they will still be there. So we're looking forward. We're going to do it virtually. We're working with some restaurants right now in regards to food and drink. And we may actually even have a master mixologist from the East Coast come on live and work with all of our members in mixing a drink specifically developed for VIA, and we'll have some fun.
That's great. Sorry for the snort there. I was inhaling.
You suck in that mask a little bit.
So, no, Hillary, thank you so much for filling us in on that. And I know Jason might have another question or so. And Shane, who's here at the radio station, helps us out. He keeps us on track since we're a couple of newbies and amateurs and rookies. He kind of keeps us on pace when we have to make sure we close out the segment. So, Jason, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
That's good, right? So if you see on the Facebook video, Shane starts slamming on the plexiglass in front of us, it's because Ed and I stopped paying attention. But so far, we're behaving okay. No, you guys, I just might want to wrap up. I think Hillary, Ed, earlier on in the segment, you guys hit it out of the park. VIA really treats its members like a family. It's not just somebody that walks in and everyone gets excited that, oh, look, there's a new face, let's go get them and try to get business from them. We like to bring people in, understand who they are, their history, their background, what brought them here to the Valley, because we want to treat them more than just a name on a membership roster. We want to understand who they are, because in the end, it helps their business, it helps our business, and it helps our organization, and really pushes forth the idea of viability. And Hillary, like I said, this has been something of a year. Ed and I are so proud to have you there at the helm. It's been fun.
You.
And as I tell everybody, there's always events going on, but whenever the calendar pops up with a VIA committee or a VIA event, I'm actually always looking forward to it. I look forward to seeing those people. I never feel like it's just a time obligation, and I would encourage anybody that wants to learn more, please go to www.via.org and come get to know us. And you get to meet Ed, and he'll give you stories over there at Salt Creek that you can take with you the rest of your life. You're going to love it. So, Hillary, thank you again for being with us today.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you on the flip side. And everybody, again, you're listening to VIA in Action with Jason Gibbs and Ed Masterson on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Coming up next, we have our next fantastic guest, Mr. Tim Burkhart, the Vice President for Maintenance and Construction at Six Flags. Hear more about the well-known landmark that is Magic Mountain, and maybe some great things we can expect post-COVID when we open up, so stay tuned.
This is Amnia Taya from Family Law at Home, here to provide you some tips during this uncertain time. Many of you thinking of a divorce or going through a divorce are wondering, I have heard that the courts are closed. Does that mean I cannot do anything in my family law case? While the courts are closed to the general public, the courts are still operational and still accepting new filings, processing new requests for orders, hearing emergency requests, and rescheduling existing hearing dates. If you feel you need to move your case forward, there are options that are available to you, and we at Family Law at Home are here to help.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KHTS, or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927 or mypillow.com and use the promo code KHTS.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
And now a cooking tip from Keith Mowry from Bob's Country Meats. Everyone loves chicken. It's easy to cook in a variety of ways, especially on the barbecue.
Marinate it overnight in your favorite marinade. Brown it up nice on the barbecue, and then put it on the other side, indirect heat, close your lid, take another 25-30 minutes, and they're good.
Chicken, tri-tip, pork chops, turkey, steaks, even exotic game like buffalo and ostrich. For the tastiest chicken in town, visit Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
Hi, I'm Eric Goldhurst, Head of Operations for Burger King North America. Throughout this time, we've taken steps to take care of our guests.
And since we know many of your jobs have been affected by this crisis,
we want to help make sure you're taken care of too.
If you are looking for work, we are hiring.
And there's a spot on our team for you.
We know that we'll get through this together, as long as we keep taking care of each other.
For more information, call 253-3283. That's 253-3283. Hey, it's Aaron checking in with your hometown station weather forecast. Expect daytime highs stay in the low triple digits, overnight lows in the mid-70s, and expect the hot weather to continue. 101 on Thursday and 105 and up on Friday through the weekend. For anything and everything around the Santa Cruz Valley, go to hometownstation.com and check us out across social media at KHTS Radio.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Via in Action. I'm Jason Gibbs, along with my fabulous co-host, Mr. Ed Masterson, on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS. You know, Shane and Ed and I, we're all just sitting here chatting, and we were talking about, like, having a camera up here and being on radio and the things we do. And, you know, Ed made a comment to me that, you know, thank God no one said I have a face for radio, but it made me think all of us have a face for radio, and Ed, we all got these masks on, so this is a perfect situation to be on radio now.
Yeah, I think the phrase originally, the comic phrase, was meant to mean that you have a face for radio if people don't see you when you're on radio. So, but that's good. I like the way you kind of transformed it into a more modern day, contemporary.
Well, how about we change it to you have a face for a podcast?
There you go. I like that.
There you go. I think the kids will understand
That's
that
good.
one, right? Hey, so thank you again. You know, our past guests, we had Kathy Norris and Hillary Broadwater on with us. It was fantastic. But I'm going to give everybody a little teaser. One of the ways this kind of came about was Ed and I are known for just getting together and having a drink and, you know, a burger or something and just kind of talking about the history of Santa Clarita, and it kind of formed into talking about Via. But I feel it'd be a very special occasion to let everybody know a little bit more about my co-host. I still find this so fascinating about you, about the time you spent down there in the movie business. And I'm not talking about yourself as a famed writer for various movies. We'll leave that little teaser for another show. Sure. But you were a tour guide at Universal Studios. How did that come about?
Well, I went to school down in Orange County at Cal State Fullerton, and all my life growing up, I loved movies from the time I started watching them and going to the movies with my parents, etc. So I was always a movie kid. I always wanted to work in the movie business. When I was really young, I fancied myself as maybe being a director, because all the book reports I ever did as a kid were about guys like Cecil B. DeMille and John Ford and all these old-fashioned movie directors. So when I got out of college, I of course went out and I auditioned, which is what it is to get a job at Universal as a tour guide. It's an audition, and so went through the application, the audition process, got selected, was a regular tour guide, meaning on the trams, the traditional thing that I think of. And then I got promoted after a year to becoming a VIP tour guide, which was giving tours to smaller groups of people like celebrities and sports figures and royalty and stuff like that on a small trolley car. So those are more intimate tours, and those were really fun also. And then from there, a buddy of mine and I started writing scripts in our time after work. He was working at the studio as well, a friend of mine who was a tour guide. And then we both had jobs. I was working as a production coordinator on TV shows. He was working in post, and we started writing scripts after work, and we got an agent, and then we got some of our crummy scripts looked at, and then we got some really crummy script writing jobs, and we kind of scraped by for a few years getting hired to write these lowball, like third tier type scripts, and none of them got made except a couple, which you know about, that are these horrible, terrible films. But it was, I have some great friends from my 20 plus years working down there at Universal, and it's great. I'll stay in touch with a lot of them. Some of them still work in the business, but it's a great collection of friends. And so I've always been a movie guy, still am. I love motion pictures. It's one of my favorite things.
Well, I do pay homage to your screenwriting abilities. Whenever you see me on a Zoom meeting and I do the virtual background, you can always usually find a shot from, No Code of Conduct?
Yeah, that's one of the classics.
But hold on. That was with the Sheens, right?
That was with the Sheens, yes. With
See?
Martin and Charlie, and not Emilio, but there was, I think, an uncle that somehow worked his way into the cast on that one also, yeah.
Yeah, and if I can remember right, the picture I used, there's this big, massive explosion that just screamed 90s action film to me.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Lots of gasoline bombs that went off to blow that racetrack up out in Arizona. So, yeah.
And that was down in, was that Phoenix?
Arizona, yeah, down in Phoenix.
Down Phoenix, see? Yeah. Now the other one, I got to be honest, I have the original movie poster from the other movie that you've done, and
Stormcatcher.
Mm-hmm. The name of the main actor is
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph. Now, if anybody on here doesn't know who Dolph is, just go ahead and watch Rocky IV over and over and over again.
Or, more recently, Dolph has made a great comeback. He's one of the stars in Aquaman that came out last year. So Dolph has kind of had this great career trajectory, better than mine, of course, in the film business, where he's been able to kind of weather the ups and downs, and now he's back. He's kind of in the mix. He's really kind of up there in some of these big action pictures.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Before we go to break, though, what was the movie, the little collection of Expendables, where all the old action stars kind of got together as older men and women?
Yeah,
and
those are fun.
I think he was part of that too, wasn't he?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Oh man, see, there's beautiful. Look at that. More stories of Ed Masterson to come going forward. You're listening to VIA in Action. This is Jason Gibbs with Ed Masterson on your hometown station, AM 1220. Join us after the break as we're going to get with Mr. Fred Arnold from American Family Funding to join us and fill us in on the real estate world and what we can expect from him and his time with VIA. So stay tuned, and we'll see you on the backside.
My tile is 20 years old and it makes my house look 20 years old.
For quality, custom kitchen, bath, and tile, trust the professionals at Southern California Tile.
Hi, I'm Bob of Southern California Tile, and I invite you to come look at the wide selection of tile and stone at our showroom. We offer you personalized one-on-one service and help you see the many beautiful possibilities for improving your home.
Get some style at Southern California Tile.
In Placerita, by the entrance to Masters College.
Once heart attack symptoms begin, delaying treatment increases the risk of heart damage, disability, and even death. Time is critical. Leading the Valley with the most advanced digital technology and treatment times that beat national best practice goals, Providence offers emergency coronary angioplasty and stenting performed by highly trained board-certified cardiologists. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING. The road to healing leads to Providence.
Last week in the Dutton Plumbing Training Room.
Okay, guys, in today's meeting, we're gonna...
Eric, I hate to interrupt, but your mom's on the phone.
Sorry, guys, 1 second. Hello, Mom? What's up? I'm in a...
Son, I'm so excited. After 6 months of senior Pilates class, I now fit perfectly into my relaxed fit bikini. Well, it's really my old bikini, but I kind of stretched it out last summer.
Mom, you're on speakerphone.
Oh, hi, boys. Anyway, that's when I got my big idea. Why don't you buy a private beach for Dutton Plumbing and all our customers?
A private beach? Do you have any idea how expensive that would be?
We'll call it Mom's Bikini Beach. Sexy seniors get in free. Clothing optional.
Mom!
DuttonPlumbing.com. Surf's up. Get Mom's $73 drain clearing at DuttonPlumbing.com. KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 10 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
A key ruling for a cash-strapped state. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. New Jersey's Supreme Court says the governor can borrow money to offset COVID-related losses, rejecting a challenge from state Republicans. However, the court says the state has to publicly certify that projected revenue shortfalls were a result of the pandemic. So the governor might not get the full amount he's hoping for, nearly $10 billion. Aid to state and local governments has been one of the sticking points in stalled talks on a relief package in Washington. Republicans arguing there shouldn't be a bailout for states in fiscal trouble before the pandemic hit. Overall, each side continues to blame the other for the stalemate.
The Democrats aren't taking this as a serious issue. They aren't acting like this is serious, and the American people are hurting in the meantime.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell accusing Democrats of political games. Democrats say Republicans are to blame for waiting 2 months to propose a bill after the House passed a $3 trillion package in May. The Biden campaign says failed leadership has left the U.S. hardest hit by coronavirus as the presumptive Democratic nominee prepares for the first joint event with Kamala Harris as his running mate near his Delaware home. President Trump will be unveiling new reopening guidelines for schools. We may need more distance. Scientists in Florida say they've proven the so-called aerosol spread of coronavirus.
6 feet has been a convention of social distancing in the midst of coronavirus, but a study shows now 6 feet might not be far enough. Researchers at the University of Florida in Gainesville say they were able to detect active virus in the air as far as 16 feet away from COVID-19 patients. The scientists say they need more information and still need to have other scientists review their work, but the initial findings would suggest more distance could be needed when being social.
Fox's Evan Brown. America is listening to Fox News.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Ohio lays out its plan to count every vote this fall.
Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose says that all Ohioans will have access to polling locations statewide this fall, expected to be fully staffed with safety measures in place, though that an added benefit to early or absentee voting.
If you're annoyed by all those phone calls and letters that you get, voting early or voting absentee is a great way to get your name taken off the list.
Ohioans have 4 weeks of early voting. LaRose also says that absentee voting in Ohio is secure, allowing people to also track ballots through a state website, and that voter ID and signatures are double-checked. Jeff Monasto, Fox News.
A fundraising boon for Joe Biden. Fox News confirming that in just the 4 hours after naming Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate, the campaign had a haul of nearly $11 million that may be close to a Biden record raised in a joint event with former President Obama in June. The U.S. Secretary of State doubling down on American warnings about Russia and China as he visits Europe.
Mike Pompeo urging European allies to avoid doing business with Russian and Chinese state-owned companies.
I'm confident when faced with the decision about authoritarianism or democracy and freedom, I am very confident what they'll choose.
Speaking in the Czech Republic, the Secretary of State praising that country's decision to ban China's Huawei from new telecoms networks.
The tide's turning. There's no doubt about that.
And he offered support to protesters in Belarus, saying a weekend election was neither free nor fair. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
Charges just announced against 3 men accused of threatening accusers of R&B singer R. Kelly, who's facing dozens of sexual misconduct charges in 3 states. One of the men, a longtime friend of the singer, accused of offering to pay one of the women not to cooperate with prosecutors. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
Welcome to Dunkin'. There are 2 Dunkin' locations in the SCV. Both locations have outdoor seating, carry-out service, and delivery with Postmates, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. Use the Dunkin' app to order and accumulate points. Try the new Dunkin' Summer Refresher for only $2. The Canyon Country location on Sierra Highway near Via Princesa has drive-through service and is open till 7 p.m. The Bouquet Canyon location just off Newhall Ranch Road has curbside service and is open till 6. The Santa Clarita Valley runs on Dunkin'.
Finding the right auto body shop can feel like a never-ending search.
It's more than a job, it's a hobby.
Caesar, owner of Body Shop 661, your one-stop body shop.
Out here in Santa Clarita, I like seeing my cars driving around. It's really a passion.
More than just repairs. Body Shop 661. Trusted, reliable, respected for over 16 years in the Santa Clarita Valley. Visit bodyshop661.com or give them a call, 661-251-2252.
At College of the Canyons, we are
an inclusive community,
a family,
a partner,
a leader,
a way forward,
an open door,
an affordable education,
an opportunity for a different tomorrow.
Fall classes begin in August.
The time is now.
The place is here.
Enroll now.
Canyons.edu/schedule.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Hey, it's Aaron checking in with your hometown station weather forecast. Expect daytime highs stay in the low triple digits, overnight lows in the mid-70s, and expect the hot weather to continue. 101 on Thursday and 105 and up on Friday through the weekend. For anything and everything around the Santa Cruz Valley, go to hometownstation.com and check us out across social media at KHTS Radio.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back, Santa Clarita. You're listening to VIA in Action. I'm Jason Gibbs, along with my co-host, the one, the only, the legendary, the cooler than the other side of the pillow, Mr. Ed Masterson, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. What do you think about that? I'm going to run out of intros eventually, Ed.
Jason, come on, you got to stop, man. People, we only have so much time in every segment, and we're just burning valuable time with that. But thank you.
We're burning our intros? No, man, it's my pleasure. Everyone, again, VIA in Action is a show dedicated to informing our community about the Valley Industry Association, the events and programs that we produce, and having guests on the show who have both shaped and benefited from the various activities that we put on. We invite you to check out www.via.org and come learn more about our programs, committees, and ways to step up your business. All right, with us now is Mr. Fred Arnold. Now, Fred, I got a couple of notes on you here. Let me see what I got here. Fred Arnold from Mr. American Family Funding will join us. And Ed, we got a lot of things to talk about with Mr. Fred.
We do. Fred's a good man. He always is. First of all, he's terrific on his own show, but love having him on as a guest. And Fred, Jason, I don't know if you had a question you were going to hit him with first, but Fred, if you don't mind, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about it. You are a mortgage specialist, and one of the things, and I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but one of the things that you brought to light in one of our presentations about a month ago was the difficulty in today's world where homeowners and people that have various mortgage loans are being given a variance, or I forget what the correct term is, where they allow them not to pay their mortgage loan and have to either pay it at the end of the term or the various things that get worked out. But talk about the burden that puts on the lenders who have originated those loans for people and are now not getting any payments given to them. How do you survive that as a lender?
Yeah, thanks for having me both, Jason and Ed. So excited to share this information and so much information what's going on in Santa Clarita. But it's called a forbearance, and the forbearance was created by the CARES Act so that people in financial challenges and financial straits can forego their mortgage payments but not have it counted against their credit. And so a forbearance in the past was a bad thing. It was kind of like a default. It was kind of like a foreclosure. It was, you did not want to go in forbearance, but it was a tool that lenders could use so that you can postpone payments during difficult times. Well, the CARES Act allowed you to do it. Almost no questions asked, really. Just, I'm in financial difficulty. My hours got cut by 10% or 100% in some cases, and you were allowed to do this. Now, the problem with the CARES Act is it did not address, how those payments are going to be made up in the end. So the first thing they're going to do if you're on a forbearance is give me, your payments $3,000 a month. Okay, at the end of 3 months, we're going to give you 3 months off. Give us $9,000. At the end of 6 months, give us $18,000. All of a sudden, well, most people that are on forbearance can't afford that money because that's why they're on forbearance. So then what happens is they say, okay, pay us $200 a month until you catch up. Well, a lot of people can barely afford their current mortgage payment, so an extra $200 is kind of difficult. So then you play this dance with them. Okay, put it on the end of the loan. It's called secretary lien. So this is what we're seeing played out. And when the CARES Act created this, Congress just said, let's just do it. Let's just do it, and the banks are required, the servicers of your loan are required to give you forbearance without any thought on how the back end was going to work. So 4.5 million people applied for it initially, and it caused a complete challenge in the system because since the loan is still in good standing, the bank still had to pay the investor, the person that owns the loan. The person that owns the loan is usually a big financial firm or your 401k. Then they own them, billions of dollars in mortgage-backed securities. But the payment still had to be. Now, in an old forbearance, when you were in hardship, we didn't have to make the payments on the loan. We ended up looking at either resolving it or going in foreclosure. But now that loan's still considered in good standing. So if a loan is in good standing, the banks, financial institutions are required to make the payment to the investor. So it created this cash crunch with the financial institutions. Now, nobody has any sympathy for the banks, right? Because we have the big bank cartel, 5 or 6 lenders that control a majority of the deposits in our country, and they have access to the Federal Reserve. Well, about 60% of all loans that are serviced and collected are not done by big banks. They're done by mortgage bankers such as ours. So we don't have access to go to the Federal Reserve and borrow 0%. So how do we make up the difference when we have to make the payment on behalf of the consumer, and the consumer doesn't make the payment until either 3 months down the road, or a little bit each month, or at the end if it's added to the back of the loan? So that's what happened, Ed. So it caused this tremendous challenge in the mortgage industry, and the mortgage industry almost collapsed 3 months ago.
Wow.
Because of it. And rates skyrocketed, and what's the value of a mortgage if you can go in forbearance whenever the government says? So it caused a tremendous challenge. So that's kind of what happened, and the industry has recovered. The reason why is less people are on forbearance, less people are skipping than initially started, and we only had to pay the first 4 payments. So after that, we don't have to make the payments to the investor until we get the money back from the lender, from the consumer. So a really interesting dynamic. And it almost caused a collapse in the mortgage industry when you guys needed us most, when interest rates plummeted and people needed to refinance.
Yeah, well, no, thanks for explaining that, Fred. And the forbearance, nobody is suggesting that people that are in need shouldn't get that consideration. So it's great that it was provided to them. But then, like you just mentioned and kind of articulated, there's other parts of that puzzle and moving parts going down the line in the process that as you just detailed, could almost have caused a collapse.
Yeah, and one thing I want to mention just real quickly, and we'll put a bow on this forbearance issue, and that is if you're in forbearance right now, look, you don't need to be scared, but when you call your lender, they're going to tell you they want all your skip payments. And you got to go back to them and say, I just don't have the money. What can we work out? And then hold your line a little bit, because I think the banks and financial institutions are figuring out what they can and can't do based on their cash flow and based on regulatory requirements. So the next thing they're going to probably do is maybe offer you to pay a couple $100 if you don't have the money saved up, because you've been able to do that. So offer that, and then last but not least, say, can you add it to the back of my loan? If you want to refinance your house right now in your forbearance, and you're in forbearance, and you want to refinance tomorrow, you got to write a check for the full amount you're behind on. If not, you've got to be on a repayment plan for 3 months, and then you can refinance. If you're on a repayment plan to catch up, then you can refinance. So just know the consequences, because basically if you did a forbearance, you're in financial hardship, and we want to make sure you can start making that payment again.
Okay, that's great, Fred. Thank you for illuminating all that.
No, Fred, thank you.
Absolutely.
And again, you're listening to VIA in Action with Jason Gibbs and Ed Masterson on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Fred, talk to us a little bit more about the real estate market and what your experience is now as a mortgage professional. We just mentioned that 3 months ago there was very serious concern about the collapse of the mortgage industry. But now just as me as an outsider not being involved in the business, I still see homes moving like crazy. I still see applications coming in like crazy for refis and purchasing, and I'm seeing posts all over Facebook about people paying $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over market. What's happening out there? Because even during the pandemic, there seems to be a lot of stuff moving.
Yeah, you got 2 dynamics right now. Let's talk about the purchase market. The purchase market is on fire. When you have I want to say young borrowers, and maybe that's not a fair thing to say, because some borrowers waited, or they want to move up, locked out of the home buying process because rates were higher and values had gone up. And then you see rates plummet down to below 3% in a lot of cases. These young borrowers have been, they've been staying at their parents. They've been cohabitating with other friends. They've had roommates. They're saying, look, now's the time, because their parents are saying, I've never seen rates this low. So you're seeing a lot of people jump into the process. And the reason why, Jason, is for the next 30 years, they fix their interest rate, period. And about 30 to 40% of your payment goes to principal paydown.
Right.
When rates are 5%, only about 18, 20% go to principal paydown.
Right.
So they're saying, wow, I can fix and no longer have my landlord raise my rent, no longer get fined because I have a new dog, and I'm not allowed to have a dog where I'm at, or, wow, I want to start a family. Household formations are going up, which is fantastic. We saw those slow down. One of the biggest segments of our population are those between about 20 and 30, 32, 35 right there. There's a boom in young adults that age. And so unlike anything we've seen since the baby boomers were born and at that age, so we're going to see them jumping into the market. We're also seeing families. I had a family, Jason, that called me, and they have a house in the Santa Clarita Valley, and they want just a little more land. They want to move out to Acton. Good for them. They're selling their house, and they're going to get like $100,000 out, and they're worried about their payments. Boy, money's so cheap. I said put 5% down, $35,000 down, and some closing costs. Take the rest of your money and pay off all these expensive bills you have.
Absolutely.
They have over $900 in 2 bills. $40,000 wipes that away. So all of a sudden, their $3,800 a month house payment ends up really being $3,000 a month because they just wiped out, if you will, their other debt at low cost. Money is very inexpensive. Now there's mortgage insurance involved in that, but that's come down because the foreclosure rates have come down tremendously over the last decade. So we're seeing move-up buyers bid on property. You have to look, Jason, is what's the value of that home in 6 to 12 months?
Right.
And all our indications are values are going to continue to rise. And so only because of supply and demand. In California, we don't build a lot of homes because lumber's expensive, the land is expensive, the legal requirements to buy the legal requirements, and the labor's expensive. So new home constructions are so expensive in California that we haven't built enough homes in our state or country, so we have a huge demand and a low supply of homes.
No, Fred,
that's on the real estate side.
Now, Fred, one thing I'll point out, Shane was fist bumping when you mentioned that 25 to 30-year-old group, so you might want to give the station a call and talk to him about getting him going in the right direction.
Hey, Shane's turn, man. It is Shane. It is our kids' turn to benefit from the joys of home ownership, because you know what? They saw their parents losing their homes in 08, 09. They saw they're getting bad loans. They had this bad taste in their mouth, and now they're seeing, I have a chance. I've done the rental thing. I finished school. I went to trade school. I'm now moving on, and I have an opportunity. And their rents will not go up, because if you get a 30-year fixed, the payment's not going to go up except for a little bit in tax, a little bit in insurance. So, Shane, let's talk after the meeting.
Hey, let's do it. I might not get that home as quickly, but hey, I'm gonna get it, and it's gonna feel good. So let's do it. I'll give you a call.
Hey, Shane, do it with the guy you're living with now, or whoever you're living. You know, it's interesting. They say, "Well, I don't make enough money." Well, you got a roommate. Partner up on it, and then you know what? Make an agreement. In 5 years, you're both gonna move on, and you're gonna keep that for your retirement. Own it 50-50, and when you're 50, it's paid free and clear. I don't know, just some thoughts, you know?
I thought about doing it with Ed, but Ed said 2 hours is long. I don't think I could get 5 years out of him on a situation like that. But now, Fred, you mentioned one thing I want to do a quick follow-up on before we ask you a question about VIA. You brought up the 2008-2009 time frame. And the one question we get asked all the time is, are we getting ready to see that again? What is different this time around than what we saw 10, 15 years ago?
Okay, so as the president of the Mortgage Bank Brokers Association in California in 2008, 2009, I saw loans that were backed by 3 characteristics that were negative. Little to no money down, bad credit, and we didn't verify your income. So we were ignoring the 3 most important things: down payment, having a job, and having okay credit. Now you can buy a house with poor credit, but you gotta and a little bit of money down, but you gotta have a good job. You can do you always have to have a job. We're verifying income on everything. That seems to be the one thing. But you can also have a lot of money down, a little bit of money down, but we're verifying you actually make the money you make.
Sure.
And I think that's the one thing. So if we see a drop in the market, we can modify a couple million loans and prevent a complete crash, because most people have a job. They just might need a little bit of mortgage relief. So there's a big difference between 08 and now, because the loans were not backed completely by jobs, by good or bad credit, and money down.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Fred.
Fred, got you? I know you've got another meeting to orchestrate here in a few minutes, but just real quick, to give us a little thought about how you got connected with VIA and why you stay connected with us.
Well, Val, as the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, we partnered with Kathy Norris, the executive director and president of VIA, and she was just amazing. And we served two different entities at the time. The chamber was really small businesses networking together, and we saw the need of VIA where they were really doing phenomenal lunches and phenomenal trainings with bigger businesses. And so what we saw was a great partnership at the time. Well, since I left the chamber over 7 years ago, VIA has just blossomed into an organization with great networking events, big and small businesses, which has been phenomenal. I think the best lunch series of all the groups in this valley, where they bring the best of the best, big business, government, the city, the county all together. They do a lot of phenomenal events. And so we've seen this become a huge force in our city for advocacy for businesses, best practices, and job creation. And so that's my relationship with VIA, and I've loved it, and I've seen them grow from a smaller organization to, I think, one of the strongest forces in our valley.
That's great, Freddie. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No, Fred, was wonderful.
Yeah,
and we loved having you as a member, and you've always been a great advocate for us, and we've always appreciated that. Now, Fred, one last final thing I want to touch on. I've always told people that if you follow you on Facebook, you always post these wonderful videos and soliloquies about emotional health and physical health, and you shame me every day when you're up at 5 in the morning out there in the pool, working out and just living the best life. How did that all come about for you? Because it really is an inspirational thing to watch, and I encourage everybody to get to know you and to follow what you do, because it really is incredible.
Thank you. I'm going to share something real quick, and it came during a challenging time in my life when I recently got divorced in 2013, 7 years ago, and it was just a change in my life. It was a very humbling experience, and I realized that I had to be the best person I could be because my kids were watching everything I was doing. So instead of being frustrated or bitter or upset, or how do I become more magnificent as a human being because of this humbling experience? And so I think during the greatest challenges in life, whether you lose your job because of COVID, whether you're in a personal financial challenge, whether you're struggling at work, we all going through something. And there's other people that are watching and seeing your magnificent shine, or see you go the other way. And I had 4 people looking at me. I had 4 young children looking at me, and I realized that I had to be the best I could be. So I started doing the Ironman competitions. It energized me, made me more disciplined, and I realized that's the life I want to live, a disciplined, inspiring, and sometimes painful life of striving to be better every day. And I think that's my message for everybody, is we're in some challenging times. Post something inspirational on Facebook. Call a friend and tell them you appreciate or love them. Give that out there because it'll come back to you tenfold. I'm telling you, Jason, you're very sensitive. Ed, you guys both give back, so you know what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Fred. You're a good man. Appreciate it.
No, Fabio, that was wonderful, sir. Fred, thanks for joining us again today. And I'm going to let everybody know, I'm not going to tell what, but you're going to want to pay close attention to the KHTS website tomorrow. There's a big announcement coming about Mr. Fred Arnold, but that's all I'm going to say. So there's your teaser, and tune in. Fred, thank you for being with us. You're listening to VIA in Action. I'm Jason Gibbs, along with co-host Mr. Ed Masterson on your hometown station, AM 1220. Join us on the back of the break where we'll be welcoming our next guest, Mr. Tim Burkhart from Six Flags, and come learn about the well-known landmark that is Magic Mountain and the great things we can expect post-COVID. Stay tuned.
At iLead Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLead Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit ileadaguadulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
This is Jill from the Santa Clarita Grocery, the all-volunteer grocery program serving children, families, and individuals experiencing food insecurities. Since January 2020, Santa Clarita Grocery has distributed 83 tons of fresh groceries to our 4,655 families in the SCV community. Santa Clarita Grocery is a drive-up, drive-through service with physical distancing in place to continue serving our community. If you are in need or looking for a charity to do the most good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery, one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. A full 99 cents out of every dollar goes directly back to the community. Santa Clarita Grocery operates on a 1% overhead and is sustained through private donations. Santa Clarita Grocery is at 21176 Center Point Parkway in the Oasis Furniture parking lot. Please visit our website at santaclaritagrocery.org or our Facebook at Santa Clarita Grocery to make a difference in our awesome town community. 425-7575. Be our guest and experience the difference.
Aloha, friends. Go check out Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brew coffee. What makes their coffee special is how their organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. They're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha.
And now for your convenience, a second Honu location at 23502 Lyons Avenue between Peachland and Apple.
Santa Clarita Valley residents now have greater access to the excellent physicians and high-quality medical services for which Providence Holy Cross is known. Providence Holy Cross Health Center in Santa Clarita features state-of-the-art cancer and imaging technologies, as well as board-certified physicians in a variety of medical specialties. Quality and compassion from a healthcare provider you can depend on. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING or visit us at providence.org.
The coronavirus has put us in a position of creating a new normal. Family Law at Home understands. Their goal is to meet you in the safest place possible, and these days that might be in your own home in a virtual meeting. Family Law at Home will provide you with immediate advice on your family law matters, such as divorce cases, child custody disputes, and domestic violence. It's as easy as going to FamilyLawAtHome.com. You'll choose your own consultation date and be in immediate contact with one of their esteemed attorneys. Family Law at Home handles the legal aspect while you and your family navigate the new chapter in your lives. Go to FamilyLawAtHome.com.
Social distancing slows the spread of coronavirus, so we should all stay home to lower the risk for everyone. More info at coronavirus.gov. Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Your hometown station.
Our news team at KHTS is constantly working to keep you informed. If you want the latest and greatest information on the Santa Clarita Valley, just sign up for the KHTS newsletter. SCV News delivered directly to your email inbox every weekday by 5 p.m. and a special weekend edition on Sundays. All it takes is an email address and you're set. Go to hometownstation.com to register.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Great healthcare just got easier and more convenient in Canyon Country. Facey Canyon Country is now open directly off the Soledad Canyon exit off the 14 freeway. The 37,000 square foot clinic houses Facey Medical Group primary care physicians, pediatricians, and specialists. Facey has easy 24/7 online appointment scheduling for PCPs and peds. For more information or to make an appointment, visit facey.com. That's FACEY.com.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
CBC Cleaning and Restoration is ready and waiting to clean and disinfect your home or business during these trying times. CBC is certified, OSHA trained, and insured for COVID-19. They are now offering 10% off services plus free disinfection application through June 30th. All staff wears full-on PPE and all equipment is disinfected before and after every job. Have CBC clean your carpets, upholstery, and hard surface flooring. Voted best commercial and residential cleaning company in the Santa Clarita Valley year after year. To take advantage of the COVID-19 special or more information, call CBC at 294-2221. That's 294-2221.
With many auto dealers currently closed, Reeves Complete Auto Center is open to handle service and repairs for your vehicle. With a 2-year, 24,000-mile parts and labor warranty, Dave Reeves and his team have been exceeding their customers' expectations for decades. Reeves Complete Auto Center is here for you while your dealer is closed. On Soledad and Ruther, ReevesService.com. Reeves Complete Auto Center, caring about Santa Clarita and you.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back, Santa Clarita. You're listening to VA in Action. I'm Jason Gibbs, along with my co-host, who still has not left because I'm blocking the way, Mr. Ed Masterson, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Ed.
Jason.
I'm running out, I promise. Eventually, I'm not going to have anything interesting to say, and it's just going to be, that's Ed, let's move on.
That's good. I think that's a good intro.
Oh, thank you. All right, joining us now, so just a reminder to everybody, VA was established in 1981 as the Valley Industry Association, have been representing business interests throughout the Valley for almost 40 years. We provide our members a blend of industrial, commercial, and service companies the opportunity to collaborate on a broad range of business issues. In addition to being a legislative advocate, VIA serves as a one-stop shop for the relevant business information, supports local education initiatives, and provides networking opportunities. That was prepared by my man Ed Masterson here. That was very good, Ed. I like that.
That's right off the website.
No, I almost gave you credit for that. I'm taking it back. All right. Joining us now, everybody, is Mr. Tim Burkhart. Tim currently serves as the Vice President for Maintenance and Construction at Six Flags Company Corporate and has been a longtime board member and supporter of the Valley Industry Association. And I believe, Tim, you're currently chairing the events committee. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I've been the events chair. I don't know, probably 6 or 7 years anyway.
Wonderful. Well, we are happy to have you and welcome to joining us, Tim. Thank you so much. Tim, can you kind of give us a little background about yourself and how you came to the Valley and have been involved here?
Well, I am a long-term resident of Santa Clarita. I moved here in 1976. Was attending high school, graduated from William S. Hart High School. Moved on to College of the Canyons, moved on from there to Cal State Northridge. When I was in high school, like just about everybody else in town, I got that seasonal job at Magic Mountain in 1987.
Tim, what was the hot ride at the time?
The hot ride was the Revolution,
Ooh.
And that is the ride that I was assigned to work on my very first day. So
Love it.
I was there not too long after that ride opened to the public for the first time.
So, Tim, so go ahead. Walk us through that again. So you got the job at Six Flags. You're living out here since 76. And then walk us through your progression as to how you got to where you are now. That's an amazing trajectory.
Well, like a lot of folks in the Valley, a lot of people I still keep in touch with from those days. Magic Mountain was a great job to work when you were a student, when you were going to school, going to college, because the largely weekend operation during the school year allowed you to get just enough hours to keep your tank full of gas in the car and do what you needed to do and not impinge too much on the time you needed for your studies. So that's what I did. And over the years, kind of moved up through the ranks in different things. About 5 years after that, I was given the opportunity to become a full-time employee, full-time supervisor at the park. And a few years after that, decided that it was probably a good career option for me. I really enjoyed the engineering, the maintenance, the construction, the operation of the rides and of the park itself. So I focused on those areas: operations, maintenance, construction, engineering, throughout my career. And let's see, about, I guess it was 9 years ago now, I was offered the opportunity to go to the corporate staff in the position I have now as the corporate vice president of maintenance and construction. So I basically oversee and coordinate all of the construction, all of the maintenance, and all of those all of that type of work for all of our parks around the world.
Wow. So that's phenomenal. That's a huge responsibility. And I'll date myself a little bit when I say this, is that when I was in 8th grade, which was right around 1971, my parents brought some of my friends and I out to at the time it was just called Magic Mountain. And the hot ride then was the Gold Rusher. Now, is the Gold Rusher still on property, or has that been repurposed into something else? Is that still there?
Oh, goodness, no. Gold Rusher is still there. It runs every day. It is, Gold Rusher is kind of that first roller coaster that a lot of people want to take their kids on. It's a real family-oriented ride. It's just an all-time classic. A mine train roller coaster in a theme park is just, it's right up there with a carousel. It's something you have to have.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, I'm glad to hear it's still there. And then now you say all the parks that are in the family of the Six Flags operation. I mean, that includes United States, and sometimes you've had things out of the country as well, or is it mostly focused here in the U.S.?
Well, the bulk of our business is in North America. We've got 29 parks in North America. We've got one in Montreal, Canada. We've got 2 in Mexico, a theme park in Mexico City and a water park in Huastepec, Mexico. And we're working on a project now where we're working with our partners building a park in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
And we've done some other development work in other parts of the world over the last few years as well.
Wow, that's amazing.
No, that's great. I mean, my first experience with the Santa Clarita Valley was of course Magic Mountain. It's always been kind of the namesake for me, and I think the hot ride at the time was Viper. And now I just look at it and get queasy. So it looks like a lot of fun, and I encourage everybody to get there when they can. But unfortunately, my life trajectory has taken me away from roller coasters a little bit.
Tim, maybe you can answer one more mystery for me, and maybe it's only a mystery to me. So the building that at one time I think was a gift shop that has sort of the totem pole-ish style thing right there off the freeway. What is that kept around for posterity and old time's sake and sentimentality, or does that serve some sort of function?
Well, that's actually the sign for the park. I mean, it's a local landmark, and years ago there was a small gift shop that we operated at the base of that sign, but it hasn't operated as a gift shop down there forever and ever. But the sign will remain. Like I said, it's a local landmark, and there's every reason to keep it up and looking good.
No, that's wonderful, Tim. Everybody, again, you're listening to Via in Action. This is Jason Gibbs along with co-host Ed Masterson on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We're talking to Tim Burkhart from Six Flags Magic Mountain. Tim, now I remember it seems like years ago, but I think the reality is it was maybe 6 months. We were just getting ready to start a Via meeting, and all the discussion of COVID was happening, and I believe we mentioned that it looked like a lot of the theme parks were going to be shutting down. What's kind of happened since that announcement has been made? What's Magic Mountain been doing, preparing and getting ready for their future?
Well, we have been anxiously waiting for direction from the state on when we can reopen. Right now, the governor has laid out a opening plan for business, and the plan that would cover theme parks, amusement parks, water parks in the state of California has not reached the threshold yet where the governor and the State Department of Health will release us for operating. We are operating parks in many parts of the country and operating them very well, very successfully.
Good.
And everybody seems to be real happy with it. What we're doing at our 4 properties in California is working with state and local governments, making sure that all of our plans are in line with what their expectations are, and just waiting for us to reach that threshold where we can get back open and do what we do.
No, and hopefully that's able to happen soon, Tim. We're looking forward to it. And Tim, during one of the events, you had mentioned to me that I believe it was Magic Mountain had developed a new type of harness that you thought would be able to be widely used for a lot of different kids and people with various disabilities to get them on the roller coasters. Am I correct in remembering that?
Yeah, we've been working for years to make all the rides in the company as accessible as they possibly can. And, certain rides have restraint systems that require riders to have limbs in a sense. In a sense, I mean, if you have restraints that work against your legs and you don't have the ability to use those restraints, we've come up in some cases on some rides with special harnesses that will safely secure somebody in the ride if that's what they choose to do and ride the ride. And it's been a really cool thing to be able to allow some people who never had the opportunity to ride a ride like that before to be able to do that. It's why you do this, right, is to make people happy and have a good time.
Absolutely. That's wonderful.
Tim, you've been a longtime member of VIA. I know you've served as the chairman of the board. You've been on the board of directors for a very long time and served the organization well as your company being a huge participant. So tell us a little bit about how you first got connected with the Valley Industry Association and what kind of keeps you connected.
Well, I think I have been on the VIA board for probably every bit of 14, 15 years. It's been a long time. Prior to that, Ed, and you remember, you and I were good friends when we were board members on that other major business organization in Santa Clarita Valley for a long number of years.
Right.
And as time went on, my interest kind of shifted more towards VIA for a number of reasons, and so we got the park active with the group, and I was asked if I wanted to join the board, which I did, and that's because I thought it was a really good group. I always thought it had a real kind of a niche place for me. I was very, very close with Connie Warden Roberts, who was always VIA's biggest promoter in Santa Clarita, and Connie always encouraged me to get more active with VIA and to help serve that group. And like I said, I was always a huge fan of hers and respected her very much. So when the opportunity came, I jumped on it and have been active on the board ever since.
Yeah, no, it's been great. And like you said, it's hard for me to believe I've been working in the community now for over 20 years because that went by really quick, much quicker than I would have thought. But Connie, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, yeah, she was so terrific. And I've told her son Leon this on numbers of occasions, that Connie, they kind of broke the mold on Connie. She really was one of a kind. And as I said, when we honored her at a big event right after she had passed away, I mean, in my experience with Connie, she was always the smartest person in the room, yet always the most humble, and for sure one of the most connected people into a variety of high roller people at all levels of government that I've ever met. She really was a force of nature here in the community. So it's great that we get a chance to remember her and all the, the connection she's had with the things we see, the development of over the years. She was right there at the beginning of those things with all the transportation elements and things of that nature. So yeah, thanks for bringing her up. Connie's one of my favorites of all time, and she really was in my corner when I first came to work here in town.
Yeah, me too. I could go on and on and on about all the work we did together and the influence and the shaping that she's had on this community. I was very fortunate to be a part of her circle of folks to try and get things done.
Yeah, she's amazing.
No, that's wonderful, Tim. And, as we get close, Tim, I got to thank you for the work that our events committee does is phenomenal. The events are always well thought out and well planned. We always have very interesting guests. I got to be on one, it seems like forever now, but it really wasn't that many months ago, about the aerospace industry here in the Santa Clarita Valley, and it's just been an absolute pleasure. So, I want to thank you for joining us today and for being such a big part about VIA. I know we have a lot more events coming up here in the next couple months as we move closer to November, the end of the year, and getting ready with Bash. And who knows, Ed may even have a Cocktails and Conversations hiding in one of his pockets that we may need to talk about on the other side of the break. So thank you so much again, Tim, for being with us. You're listening to VIA in Action. I'm Jason Gibbs, along with my co-host, the one and only Ed Masterson, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. On the backside here, we'll wrap up our morning show this morning, and maybe we'll give a little teaser about what we can expect down the road, and maybe Ed will share another story or two. Stay with us. We'll be back.
At the Burrito Factory, their motto has always been to serve quality food with fast, friendly service. But did I mention the taste? When it comes to authentic taste and huge mouth-watering burritos, the Burrito Factory is second to none. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or a catered event, Burrito Factory has the taste of Mexico to satisfy your craving. Burrito Factory on Soledad Canyon Road next to Chi-Chi's Pizza in Canyon Country. Stop in or call ahead 288-0222.
This is Maria Hauser from Family Law at Home. Many of you who are thinking of a divorce or going through a divorce are wondering, how can I obtain a court order on support? And is the stimulus check supposed to be divided between my spouse and me? While the courts are closed to the general public, you can file a request for child support and get a hearing date. The stimulus check disbursement is based on the recipient's most recent tax return. The status you use will determine if one payment for those who filed jointly or two payments for those who filed married filing separately is received. If you file jointly, the stimulus check is divided 50-50. We at Family Law at Home are here to help you navigate through these financial issues.
Santa Clarita Valley residents now have greater access to the excellent physicians and high-quality medical services for which Providence Holy Cross is known. Providence Holy Cross Health Center in Santa Clarita features state-of-the-art cancer and imaging technologies, as well as board-certified physicians in a variety of medical specialties. Quality and compassion from a healthcare provider you can depend on. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING or visit us at providence.org.
This is Bradley from Santa Clarita Grocery, the all-volunteer grocery program serving children, families, and individuals experiencing food insecurities. Since January 2020, Santa Clarita Grocery has distributed 83 tons of fresh groceries to 4,465 families in the SCV. Santa Clarita Grocery is a drive-up, drive-through service with physical distancing in place to continue serving our community. If you are in need or looking for a charity to do the most good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery, one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. A full 99 cents out of every dollar goes directly back to the community. Santa Clarita Grocery operates on a 1% overhead and is sustained through private donations. Santa Clarita Grocery is at 21176 Center Point Parkway in the Oasis Furniture parking lot. Please visit our website, santaclaritagrocery.org, or Facebook at Santa Clarita Grocery to make a difference in our awesome town community. 661-425-7575. Be our guest and experience the difference.
Save water and save money. SCV Water wants to help you find your fit and take advantage of conservation rebate programs that will help you save. Water your landscape more efficiently. Replace your lawn with water-wise plants. Conduct free in-home water surveys. Cover your swimming pool and more. Find the programs that fit your needs and start saving today. Visit conserve.yourscvwater.com to learn more.
That's conserve.yourscvwater.com.
Consumers Furniture is back open for your business. The safety of our community and our staff, above all, is most important to us. We will provide a safe and clean environment for you to find the perfect piece of furniture for your home. To help you with your purchase, we are offering 25% off your entire order or 24 months same as cash financing. And for our awesome essential workers, we will deliver locally your furniture free of charge. Consumers Furniture is located in the Center Point Shopping Center, below Sam's Club and Walmart.
Hey, it's Aaron checking in with your hometown station weather forecast. Expect daytime highs stay in the low triple digits, overnight lows in the mid-70s, and expect the hot weather to continue. 101 on Thursday and 105 and up on Friday through the weekend. For anything and everything around the Santa Cruz Valley, go to hometownstation.com and check us out across social media at KHTS Radio.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row. and receive the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
Welcome back, Santa Clarita. You are listening to VIA in Action. I'm your host, Jason Gibbs, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Sitting next to me, again, is still the illustrious, the one and only, the man that, you're not going to believe this, Ed Masterson. Everybody knows that famous video of somebody getting a shot of Bigfoot? Yep, Bigfoot was more excited to hear that you were co-hosting the show than that man was actually recording it.
That's good. Well, it's good that our one and only show, our swan song here at KHTS has got such great intros. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, no problem, but I'm out of intro, so you're going to have to feed me some for next week and help me make some up.
We can talk about your extraordinary career in the aerospace business one of these days, and you tell some stories about rockets and things of that nature.
Oh, I sure could. Yeah. Sure could. No, I've been very fortunate. It was kind of funny. When I graduated in 2005 from Cal Poly, I was actually set to move to Denver, Colorado to work for it was a company that built track homes. And it shows you how memorable it was. I don't remember the name of the company or even who I interviewed with, but I was 2 weeks from going out, and I had a brother that said, "Hey, why don't you stay here in the Central Coast and let's get a house together," because 2005 was the thing to do when you were 25 to 30 years old. Just something to keep in mind, Shane. And so we bought a house together, and I took a job as a drafter. Didn't know anything about the company, but I was just drafting there on the Central Coast, and it wasn't 6 months later that I was hanging out at Space Launch Complex 6, which is home of the Delta IV launch rocket at Vandenberg Air Force Base. And it was a very interesting experience because it went out there, and I talked about I specialize in ground system equipment, so I jokingly tell people, if you want to know what I do, I get a rocket 6 inches off the ground. After that, she's on her own, and I go home.
There you go. I like it.
And I basically got handed a bunch of paperwork and said, "Here, you're responsible for all these systems. Best of luck."
So you went from being a Santa Barbara guy, which is a cool place to grow up.
Oh, it's
right?
not a bad place.
Yeah.
No, not a bad place.
To now being kind of a rocket scientist.
Heck, I don't know how that happened. And then I jokingly tell people I just played a lot of basketball, and I had some friends I played basketball with. And one day we're sitting there after a game, and they looked at me and go, "Jason, we have no idea what you do for a living." And I said, "Oh, well, you want to take a guess?" And they all looked at each other, looked back at me, and said, "Stand-up comedian." And I said, "What? No, I'm a rocket engineer. I go out and play with the Delta IV and the Atlas V." And they started laughing like I said the funniest thing you'd ever heard. And to some of them, I still don't think they believe it. Even if I post pictures standing out next to one of those things, they're not going to buy it. But
that might have been your proof that you're a stand-up comic. They might have just thought that was the joke right there, and they moved right forward.
Well, I'd like to think I could come up with something better than that. But no, I've done that for 15 years now, and also worked on the Atlas V rocket, and I've been kind of working up in Vandenberg. I married a woman who's a biomedical engineer at Boston Scientific, so we're doing just all kinds of fun things around here.
Yeah, you guys are an impressive family, no question about that. I know we're coming up on the end of the deal here, but real quick, are any of the old school rockets from, say, the Apollo program still in use, or any of that technology, or is that all gone by the wayside?
Well, I can tell you, technology and infrastructure, some of that still exists. The joke I always heard when I first came on from the guys who were 80 years old, who'd been a part of Apollo, would say, "Yeah, Jason, we're putting up tomorrow's technology with the infrastructure from the 50s. And a lot of that hasn't changed. We still like to use the old methodologies, the old structures, but what happens with payloads and on the inside of the rocket and what you're putting in space, that's a little more exciting, a little more tomorrow's technology. But we'll talk more about that on a future event. Next week, I think we're going to line up a few of our nonprofits here in town to come in and talk about how VIA's worked with them and the mutual benefits we've had there. The week after that, we're going to be focusing on education, and then we may even do a fourth week that's talking about the future of business in Santa Clarita. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about it. Again, this was VIA in Action with Jason Gibbs and the one and only Mr. Ed Masterson on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Thank you very much. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.